If you've got a hot minute or two, I'd like to take you on a journey. What began as a social media campaign is now receiving global attention. I spent a year investigating the irresponsible pollution of the Osun River, and I will now take you into its inner workings. Before we begin our story, allow me give you a background geographical knowledge of the Osun River. Originating from Igede Ekiti, the Osun River flows through the forest of Ilesha into Osogbo, past Ashejire at the border between Oyo and Osun States. It flows further down south, past Ijebu-Igbo in Osun State, through a little town, makes its way into the Lekki Lagoon in Lagos State, before emptying itself in the Atlantic Ocean. Now that we are on the same latitude, please come with me to this historical house in Osogbo, where the AnuOluwapo, one of the conservators of the Osun River, opened her doors to us.
Bí àwọn omi ṣe rí ẹni àgbo Ọ̀ṣun ìlórí ìwọ̀nba bí ọdún mélòó kan sẹ́yìn, ó jẹ wá lógún pé bóò ni àgbo Ọ̀ṣun ṣe rí báyìí, a mọ̀ bó ṣe jẹ́. Nígbà yá làwọn gbọ́ pé wọ́n ń wa kùsà nítòsí Iléṣà, pé kùsà tí wọ́n ń wà ni ló fa tí àgbo Ọ̀ṣun tó fi rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Nínú gbogbo bí ó ṣe jẹ́ gbajúgbajà lágbàáyé, kò síbi tí wọ́n ti wá gba àgbo tí láti wá torí omi. Àwa tí bí a ṣe ń sọ yìí, a wà nínú ìbànújẹ́ rẹ̀ pé kò yẹ kó rí báyìí.
Her frustration was tangible. It became important for us to visit the sacred grove. So, off we went to the grove. The Osun Osogbo Sacred Grove is a recognized UNESCO World Heritage Site. When we got there, we were refused entry for the purpose of filming. So, we went back to Mama doing your Osun. She shared the hesitation of the staff at the grove with me. They were worried that the media would blow things out of proportion, especially because the hashtag Save Osun River was trending on social media alongside a Change.org petition. After much persuasion, we were called to return to film. We started from Busonyi Grove, a smaller grove within the sacred grove, which got attention in 2021 after the US Embassy approved a grant of $127,000 for its conservation. Although the Osun River flows through it, Busonyi is considered a lesser deity. Of course, someone came by to fetch some of the water while we were there. While filming, we discovered that it was a recreational spot for young boys who jumped into the muddy mess for a refreshing swim. Then we proceeded to the Osun Osogbo Sacred Grove. This time, the gates were flung open to us. We were welcomed by a large troop of old world monarch monkeys going about their daily activity while tourists poured out of the grove. At the entrance of the grove, a priestess welcomed and consulted spirits for people. Once we went past that, we came to the main point of the worship at the grove, where a dressed statue of Osun stands as polluted waters flow past. Every year, thousands of tourists pour in here to consume this water, believing that their wishes will come true. Public waste also finds a resting place at the grove. While assessing the damage and taking water samples with my team at the grove, an interesting personality came to pray at the grove and granted us his consent to film his prayers. Listen attentively.
Mo wá bí wọ́n kẹ́yìn ìyá mi torí pé bí náà ti tọrọ mi wọ́n ṣe ní báyìí ni mi tí mo ní wẹ́ẹ́ ṣe gan ẹ ti pèsè mọ́tò kan ẹ ti pèsè yín fún mi ẹ ti pèsè mẹ́rin fún mi ẹ ti fún mi lọ́mọ fine èmi ò fine but wọ́n á ń bẹ̀yìn báyìí wọ́n kàtà sùn. Igba ènìyàn mo pè é lẹ́yìn, igba bílíọ̀nù mo pè é, igba tírílíọ̀nù mo pè é lẹ́yìn. Torí àwọn èèyàn ńlá ńlá mò ń bá ṣe papọ̀. Ẹ lọ ṣínà fún mi ní US, l'Amẹ́ríkà. Gbogbo ibi tí fóònù nọ́mbà mi wà ní gbèrégbèdé ayé ní ọdún tí mo wà yìí. Ní oṣù tuntun tí mo bọ́ sí. Ẹ lọ nà lọ́dún tí mo wà.
Then the shock came. He washed his head and face and then proceeded to drink the water. That was the moment I realized that there was real trouble here. Days later, I heard that the management of the grove had called for an emergency closed-door meeting to discuss the growing concern about the river. So, I made my way to the sacred grove to gather information. While waiting to get access into the elite meeting of traditional rulers and government representatives, my cameraman spotted an interesting session at the edge of the river. A lady had been bathed and ritual dumped into the river to float to wherever the river takes it. After the rigor, they left quietly. I eventually got an undercover access into the meeting, and these were some of the things I heard. This is the representative of the Osun State Ministry of Environment speaking, and here's what he said.
Torí nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yìí tá a sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìwakùsà ara ìpèníjà tá a kọ́kọ́ ní ni pé wọ́n gbójú àgàn sí wa wọ́n jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé a ní ẹ̀tọ́ kankan gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìjọba àtúnlẹ̀ láti ẹ̀ ti lè mọ́ jíròrò lórí ọ̀rọ̀ mining àwọn ìṣòro tó wà nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ènìyàn ṣùgbọ́n àwa jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé àláfẹ́ ṣòfin lórí mining ṣùgbọ́n iṣẹ́ mining ó ń ba àyíká wa jẹ́ àyíká làwa dẹ̀ ń ṣètò láti dáàbò bò pé gbogbo táwa fẹ́ ṣe òun ni ọ̀nà láti dáàbò bò àyíká. Inú ẹ̀ láti ẹ̀ ti discover pé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lójú tó wọ́n lónìí tán bá ní kán wá sọ iye àwọn miners tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ fún ní license gan àmọ́ ara ìṣòro tá a discover ni pé táwọn bá gba license bóyá tí wọ́n ní àǹfààní láti ṣiṣẹ́ lásìkò yìí àbí pé license ibi tán gbà ó ti pọ̀ díẹ̀ wọ́n lè fún mi lórí ọ̀fẹ́ pé ní area tèmi ti gba license yìí ìwọ náà lọ ṣiṣẹ́ ní ibi báyìí báyìí.
Urban Alert, the brain behind the Save Osun River campaign, shared their water test findings, revealing high concentrations of some heavy metals, especially mercury, lead, and cyanide in the river. Here is the representative of Nesria reacting to the water test findings.
Some of these contaminants he's talking about are carcinogenic. Apart from being carcinogenic, some of them can destroy the human kidney. The bioactivity, that means they persist in the system. They go in gradually in bits. It will not affect you just one day, you collapse and die. No, it will build up.
A very passionate Olori of the Atoja of Osogbo reacted to the alarming findings.
In few months, we will still come here to celebrate the festival. Shame by Shefe Komi, because she really late. With everything that is solved by the state government, it is clear to everybody that the state government, they have little or nothing to do about it.
It was clear that stakeholders and government officials know the gravity of what is at stake. So, I was curious to know what the State House was doing about this. A colleague got me access into the government house, where I met the then Deputy Chief of Staff of the Governor, who supervises the Ministry of Water Resources and Energy.
During the pandemic, the lockdown period, a lot of illegal activities happened. A lot of mining happened. Everyone was supposed to be at home. We have a lot of these artisanal miners and migrants. A lot of them from the north, actually. When mining was kind of prescribed up north in Zamfara, we had a lot of them that came in here. At some point, we did a head count. We were numbering about 10, 15,000 of them in Osun. These are those we're able to document. So they do all this sort of mining and they wash the residue into the river. The government of Osun State is fully aware of the entire activities in the mining sector. We support the federal government in enforcing proper mining regulation within the state, knowing fully well that it's not in the jurisdiction of the state to either allocate lands to anyone to mine or to even control mining itself. Rather, what we have done on our own side is, since we have a Ministry of Environment, the government of Osun set up MIREMCO. It's a Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee that has multiple stakeholders in it. The essence of this committee is to look around, ensure enforcement, arrests of people that are seen to be contravening every form of mining.
With all the points made by Prince Binuyo, I set out to see things for myself. First, a time-lapse analysis of satellite pictures showed that illegal mining became visible in the waters of Osun River from 2020. This is Ibala Ijesha in January 2019, then May 2020, then November 2020. This is the path of the Osun River between Ila and Iregun in May 2019. This is May 2020. And this is January 2022. This is Ashejire Dam in 2018. Then February 2020. Then November 2020. And now. You get the picture now. It went from bad to worse. The actual site of the dam corroborates my satellite findings. This dam is a source of drinking water for residents of Oyo State. It cost almost 300 million naira for the government of Oyo State to refurbish it about 8 years ago, and it is managed by the State Water Corporation for the supply of water to over 3 million residents in Ibadan metropolis, as well as Ikoyi and Akpomu in Osun. But it is not just the water corporation that relies on this dam. Two major beverage companies source their raw water from here too. I scurried through Ashejire village with my crew to get access to the dam, where the 2 water pumping points at the dam were more obvious. The first and most obvious is the Nigerian Bottling Company. One of their production plants sits a few meters away from the dam. But the less obvious one is Nigerian Breweries PLC, whose production plant at Old Ife Road connects to the dam by several kilometers of underground water pipes. So, I reached out to both companies requesting a tour of their water treatment plants and waited for positive responses. Next up, this adventure brought me to Sabo in Ile-Ife one early morning, where I went digging for the inner workings of the recruitment of artisanal miners. This place is the hub of laborers, amongst whom specialize in unskilled gold mining. I waited for the sun to rise, and soon enough, they began to show up at the bus stops, waiting to be recruited for the day. A few who already had sites to show up at left hurriedly. Then a recruiter showed up. I watched how he concluded his deal keenly. Then I decided to try recruiting while filming undercover. I was mobbed.
Make I pass.
Anyway, I began to discuss recruitment, but the chaos wouldn't let us reach a deal. Then someone came to my rescue. After warding the crowd off, he took me to the room where the head of the gold miners lives. I met his sleepy acquaintances.
Chairman, no dey. I fit talk to you.
Gafara, go better now. I talk to you.
I fit talk to you. I dey find chair. I wan do gold. I dey find labourer. They talk say me I come here. Chairman, no dey. I just want to know how much una the labourer dey collect every day.
What are you doing?
It's gold.
Gold.
I wan do gold. You fit give me chairman number. May I talk to her?
My number there outside, bro. 08131. Then 89. My number, but what's your name? What's your name? Ali. Ali, what's it? Chairman.
Ali chairman.
Damn my way now. Damn my way now. Okay. We'll call him. You need like 30 laborer.
Like how much now they collect every day?
How much are they? Could they have could out?
May I talk to chairman? Okay. Mi lè dúró máa pè wọ́n lórí fóònù tó nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ ṣe
ẹ ní ìdílé bọ̀ báyà bí.
mo fẹ́ gádà wọn bíi next week la fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ so nǹkan tí mo ṣe fẹ́ bá ọ̀gá sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn so that wọ́n máa bá mi gádà wọn lébọ̀.
àwọn olóòlù máa ń gbé gádà àwọn tó pọ̀ pa.
wọ́n ti fún mi ní nọ́mbà yẹn ẹ ṣe.
Everywhere in this compound, there were young men with eager eyes, and you bet they would take on any job. Amongst them are labor fraudsters, as my self-appointed guide shared.
mo ní sòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ fún yín wọ́n láwọn máa ń pa ẹ̀ tó bá dọ̀hún tán wọ́n máa kówó jẹ wọ́n máa takú pé 5,000 ni wọ́n máa fún wọn 5,000 after 5,000 wọ́n fún wọn lówó oúnjẹ ojúmọ́.
If there are miners, then there are mining sites, and I went on an adventurous discovery searching them out. I began at Kajola, where I had gathered that there was illegal mining in the open. I already saw miners along the road on the way to the site calling out to be recruited. After driving through the village for a bit, we came to a very interesting site. The state government Kajola Dam project, which has been awarded and re-awarded, yet remains uncompleted since 2006. This is a satellite image of the project in 2018. By May 2020, you can see that some mining activities had begun. By November 2020, there were holes scattered around the path of the water. When we got there, we found the actual same thing ongoing, with men hard at work. There was nothing to show what company was doing this, and it was too dangerous to go close to the miners. Apparently, one man's unfinished business is another man's workshop. In another village not too far from Kajola, the Osun State government situated aware after securing a $65 million loan from the Islamic Development Bank. When we visited the site of the project, it appeared to have been abandoned. The polluted water flowed past it, and its wells were dry. To be double sure, I dug out images showing former Governor Rauf Aragbeshola commissioning this same project a few years back. This is what is obtainable now. Our drone caught an interesting moment where cattle had just finished drinking some of the polluted water. Even animals are not spared. Across the road upstream from the Oyile River, we discovered miners hard at work. When we flew our drone, what we saw was alarming. There was nothing to show what company was doing this, just men at work. We followed the path of the river and established that it flows past the water plant indeed. Could this be a trend with abandoned water projects in Osun? Idoka is a small village, unassuming at first glance, until you discover the greedy mining ongoing right behind the village. With the river behind the village now a mining site, I wondered what their water situation was like. For those who can afford it, they use sachet water. Others resort to the wells. However, most people whom I spoke to mentioned a spring under a tree where they get good drinking water.
Pure water lẹ́ńlò. Kí lẹ fi ń sún oúnjẹ ń sìn? Ṣé pure water náà ni?
Omi odò wà.
Omi odò. Ibo ló wà?
Omi oko. Omi Ọ̀ṣun yẹn ò tiẹ̀ ṣe òun ò tiẹ̀ ṣe rí rárá, ó dàbí míìkì.
Ṣé tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣé ibi ìbá ilẹ̀ dàgbà sí?
Rárá o.
Okay. Àtìgbà wo lẹ ti ń gbé ń bí báyìí? 3 years. So àtìgbà tẹ́ ti dé bí báyìí bómi yẹn ṣe rí nìyẹn?
No, omi tó fine.
So ẹ máa ń pọn tẹ́lẹ̀, ṣe máa ń lò tẹ́lẹ̀?
Máa ń pọn, máa wẹ̀, máa fọṣọ, ṣe everything tẹ́lẹ̀. Nísìnyí, ṣe ń tó lòdì.
This water you go drink am? This well water?
You go drink am.
Are you sure say e good?
So, no, go just you go drink am.
May I see the water well? And now inside this well, where they this back now, now inside there you fetch am. You dey drink am. E no do you anything. You no sick. Babu. Ha. Àtìgbà wo lẹ ti pọn mi yẹn mọ́? Ṣó ti pẹ́? Ó ti pẹ́.
Ọ̀nà omi oko.
Omi oko. Ibo nìyẹn wà?
Òkè bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ó jí sísàlẹ̀, a máa kọjá step, a máa bọ́ ìsàlẹ̀, a máa tẹ orí omi wọn. ṣàn àmọ́ bọ́ sí iye tí a ti máa ń pè ní
gbogbo. Okay. Bàbá ṣé bíbá iná lọ bí yín sí?
Ibẹ̀ ni ẹbí gbogbo rẹ̀ sí. Èmi àbí. Sùlẹ́mù máa ti jáde ọtún bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá.
Ilé yín nìyẹn. Ọmọ ọdún mélòó ni yín bàbá? Ẹ má bínú pé mo béèrè o.
Mo ti tọ́gọ́rin ọdún ní.
Okay. So ìgbà tẹ́ kéré ṣé bí omi yẹn ṣe rí nìyẹn? Omi yẹn.
Omi alágbàro. Bí iṣẹ́ mo ti rí lúgbẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Ẹ rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Àìmọ́tálẹ̀ lè bẹ̀ àwa lọ́mọdé o.
Ẹ mú.
Omi dáadáa ni.
Ìgbà tẹ́yìn kéré ẹ̀yin máa ń mú.
Òun ni àìmọ́. Àlómi gidi. Kí àìpè lálágbà o. Omi kí a nẹ́ni. Ẹgbọ́n mo sọ.
So I asked to be taken there. We walked for a few minutes into the farmlands of the village and came to a flight of stairs leading downwards into a grove. It was dangerous to go further, so our guide sent 2 young boys familiar with the terrain to help us. We gave them a phone and asked them to film the spring, and this is their footage. It was truly a sight to behold.
Wait for me.
In my study of the satellite images of Osun River, I discovered that there was an apparent confluence where good water meets with the polluted Osun River, proving that most tributaries to the Osun River remain fair while the miners keep destroying the Osun River. Here at the Erinle Dam in Ede, one can clearly see where good meets evil. Meanwhile, in Osogbo, the state capital and environs, life goes on and people have adjusted ignorantly to the brown waters of the Osun River.
Àtìgbà ó lẹ́tí rí pé omi yẹn ń ṣe báyìí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ wá díẹ̀. Bí ọdún mẹ́ta ń sìn.
Ló bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Ṣùgbọ́n òun lẹ máa fi ń fọ mọ́tò. Kò affect mọ́tò.
Àwọn èèyàn mú náà. Wọ́n mú mi.
Àwọn wo ló mú?
Àwọn ará village mú.
Ṣẹ́yìn náà ṣe máa fi ń wẹ̀ ṣe máa ń lo ẹ fi ń wẹ̀. Kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe yín lára. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún yín pé ó máa ń fa bí àrùn fún ara.
But it's not only in Osogbo that people are ignorant. When we went searching for abandoned mining sites in Ifewara, I discovered a truly alarming situation. Apart from the lands that have been abandoned inappropriately, I found a palm oil producer who uses the polluted waters of Osun River to make her produce.
Kí lẹ máa ń lomi kànga yẹn fún? Okay, eléyìí lẹ máa ń mu lẹ máa fi ń wẹ̀.
Tó dọ̀tí yẹn táwọn yìí. La fi ń fọ ẹyìn.
She demonstrated it to us. The water is used in the entire process, and then the palm oil is transported to the market, where unsuspecting people buy it and consume. A very sad reality. The results of an independent water test carried out by the cable newspaper shows that there are indeed heavy metals, especially lead, above the WHO standard in the samples collected at various points of the Osun River. A medical analysis of these results projects kidney disease, skin problems, and even cancer. So, What happens to illegal miners? Months into my investigation, I was secretly invited by the state's task force to observe a raid of illegal miners. I was told that there would be a shootout, so I came prepared.
So with regards to location, we're in Okeogbo in Ife East local government area, but we don't know the exact location where they're going to arrest the miners, but we're just going in a convoy with the task force and the government officials.
What we discovered was truly alarming. Gold mining right within a residential neighborhood.
Look at this road.
Yeah.
You know, in no way is it acceptable. No way, it's not acceptable.
The task force began to make arrests.
What kind of mining are you doing inside town? In fact, this guy needs to go to Bongo. This guy is running out to Bongo. Another person will guide you. If they impound your car, they impound everything. What kind of nonsense is this?
What company is he working for, sir?
What's the name of your company? Okay, what's the name of your company?
I don't know.
You don't know, you're working for them.
I'm a driver here.
Okay, I'm not Igbo.
I'm money. Is that the way to ask you? Nah, they will.
Hey, sit down. Sit down. You asked me to call the boss. Come on and sit down. Sit down, make your call. Sit down.
Stop him.
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down, make your call. Sit down, my friend. Sit down there.
Hey, what up? Babu. On the China, now manager.
An expatriate was arrested.
Shatimuri.
Illegal, no man. You again. Go sit down for that back.
Company only lawyer chef.
Ahmed, sir. Why don't let more machine one man? Yeah. One lang one company. You can they want to one in lecture. What would you know?
Ṣebí kíni Davis kọ́ ni?
Davis ṣé orúkọ company náà?
Davis no Chinese yín ọ̀gá yín mo sọ. Ibo ti kọ́ mo ti tì í gbà yẹn.
Àwọn kan níbo ni? Níbo ní ibi lecture níbi lóko yìí. Ora.
Kí ló orúkọ company yìí?
The same company náà ni.
Ilé wọn sọ́dọ̀ wà ní lecture náà.
Kí ló orúkọ company náà? El Shaddai. Okay.
A quick search of the company on the Corporate Affairs Commission website shows that it's inactive.
So right now we've been able to make an arrest of a Chinese national working with some locals. They claim that the company that has done this right here in this village is called El Shaddai. So they say they have another site elsewhere, and that's what we're going to right now and see if we can make some more arrests.
We proceeded to the main mining site, and the real drama began to unfold. When we got there, we met uniformed men protecting the site.
What are you talking about? What the come over ahead? What the is all this?
On this raid, everyone is backed by the federal government and are one gunshot away from a shootout while the Chinese miners escape.
I don't want to have. I'm not a policeman. You should talk to my people. I have what federal government commission. I'm the chairman of the I'm the federal government.
No, our people the Chinese people have run away. They made them to run away.
Bring that one that we are carrying.
Yes, so let's go.
At this point, The expatriate who was arrested initially was now unarrested by this special force.
Let us go. Let's show. So let him go.
Oga, why they no fear arrest them now?
Don't show me this thing, I'll throw it.
But what thing they do? What thing they do? They illegal now. Who they illegal now?
They don't burn you well.
What thing they do? They illegal now. So why they protect them? You supposed to protect Nigeria.
You too, you should respect yourself.
I'm not talking to you. So other people what you arrest and you that self. Go to join you lójúmọ́.
Nígbà tí ń jalè, mi ń jalè náà. Ṣé mo jalè ni?
Àwọn chinko yẹn lẹ́yìn bá ṣiṣẹ́.
Tí n bá jalè ni màá sáré náà. Ẹni bá jalè ní sìn máa ti sá lọ.
Ṣé nínú gold náà tẹ máa ń gbà ló wà lọ́rùn yìí? Torí eléyìí tó wà lọ́rùn yìí ó dán gan.
Gold ni mo lò.
Ẹ̀mí nẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni iṣẹ́ gold mo ṣe.
So èló ni eléyìí tó wà lọ́rùn yìí tá a bá fẹ́ tàn sí bí èló la lè make?
15,000.
Jálẹ̀.
Jálẹ̀.
Ó ga o.
And I gave that's all wrong with. No, iṣẹ́ gold for God 15 years.
For 15 years lẹ́sìn ṣiṣẹ́ ń bí báyìí. So ẹ ti ń ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí fún bíi 15 years.
Mo fi táwọn ọmọ mi lọ sí.
Ọmọ mélòó lẹ ní? Ẹ lọ́mọ méjì. Bọ́tẹ́ mọ̀ pé nǹkan táwọn chinko yìí ń ṣe kò dáa. Ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n ní license láti ṣe nǹkan tó ń ṣe. So ó wà illegal.
Mo mọ̀ pé kò dáa lóòótọ́ orílẹ̀ wa ní Nàìjíríà ni wọ́n wà àyè bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ni àdéṣe polisi náà lù wọ́n.
Kí lorúkọ títí? Felix, okay. Ẹ ṣé. Oga, I just have a question for you, sir.
Nonsense. Oga, let's go. They must produce these police people before they release them. And they must produce. Ask me the question you want to ask me.
Okay. Sir, which company? Which company?
You have to tell me your name.
Yeah, I can tell you my name. I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist.
Journalist from where?
From the cable newspaper.
Okay.
Yes. So my question for you is that, which company is this that you are protecting? Why are you protecting them? Because what they are doing is illegal.
Thank you. Whatever thing they are doing that is illegal is none of my business. My own is to protect the China, the expatriates.
Okay.
For kidnapping, because the incident that happened recently, that was yesterday. 2 China was kidnapped with the people like these people dressing like this, coming with a armed men like this. So that is the reason I'm asking them. They should tell me the reason why they are here.
Okay.
After much chaos, it was time to leave defeated, but not without the Joint Task Force's car getting stuck in the mud.
Sir, is that what happens a lot of times?
At times they want to shoot.
Sometimes the military, army are protecting them. Let's go.
Okay, sir.
With an unsuccessful mission behind us, we decided to make our way to Bogon. Just as we hit the main road, horror struck.
Holy Spirit.
We were intercepted by a group of more uniformed men who pointed guns at us, accusing us of kidnapping Chinese nationals. I recorded the incident on my phone. By this time, the task force had escaped and we had to bail ourselves out.
Park. We didn't kidnap anybody.
I don't know what you are doing. I don't understand. Where you come from? We are going to Ife now. The same with that in-laws. No, the car we are following is in front. One Toyota car.
We're not even part of them.
I'm following the Toyota car. These in-laws came in front of me, so I had to stop.
Jesus Christ. Guys, they just shot. They were just shooting, thinking we kidnapped somebody.
I got the faces of the men who were one trigger away from killing us for a hypothetical offense. I hope to one day find their details. Visibly shaken by the incidents, I had to lay low for some weeks. Unforgettable. By the time I resumed the pursuit of this investigation, I got invitations from the Nigerian Bottling Company and Nigerian Breweries PLC to take a tour of their water plants. However, I was not allowed to film.
Right now, I am at the Nigerian Bottling Company plant here at Ashejire, which is more like a border community between Oyo and Osun State. And the peculiarity of my visit to this plant today is based off of the water test that was carried out some months ago concerning the quality of water flowing through the Osun River. And because we have been able to establish the fact that the Nigerian Bottling Company actually sources water, although my team and I were not allowed to film beyond the gates, we were given a tour of their water treatment plant, which turned out to be an elaborate water treatment plant. I have here with me Mr. Anthony Adejuwon of the Urban Alert. What would you make of what you saw in the water plant?
So while we've seen what is on ground and the processes in place to clean the water, in fact to take the water from the river apart, to clean the water and transform the water to what people consume. It is important to know that we still expect that the company will avail us the opportunity to lay hands on the data that shows what they see while taking the water off the Osun River, and also possibly how clean, in terms of data, how clean is their products are that get to the customers. I think this is very important for the conversation to show transparency, to show accountability, not just for
the regulatory bodies,
yeah, their customers, but also the host communities that stays around Ashejire, where we've previously, tested the water sample from.
Although I couldn't film beyond the gate of Nigerian Breweries plant, I was given a tour of their water treatment plant, and they shared a pictorial representation of their process with me.
The Nigerian Breweries Ibadan plant runs a 25-kilometer water pipeline from Ashejire Dam, through which Osun River flows, down to here in Old Ife Road. One of the reasons we came here today was to have a look at their water plant, since this plant depends heavily on the Osun River as its major source of raw water. I have just taken a tour of the water treatment plant here, and I've come to understand all the measures that the company has put in place to ensure that the highest standard of water is being used in the production of their products.
With that behind us, it was Osun Festival season, and yet again, I came to see if people would still consume the water.
In less than 24 hours, thousands of pilgrims from around the world are going to process through Osogbo town with the Arugba and the Osun priestesses down to the Osun Sacred Grove. Many of them are likely to take some of the water with them for consumption. Despite our efforts over the past few months, releasing water test results showing that there are heavy metals that have contaminated the Osun River, the government is yet to do anything with regards to this, and people are likely to still consume this dangerous water tomorrow.
The preparation on the eve of the festival was very visible. There was reasonable corporate sponsorship, and at the shrine, a lot of spiritual activities were ongoing, including the fetching of water from the river. On the day of the festival, I made my way early.
It's the morning of the Osun Osogbo Festival, and I am here within the Isale Osun South Local Government Area Office. One question that is on my mind is, are these people still going to be allowed to consume this polluted water? Today is the festival. People have come from far and near. They are coming with all sorts of containers to take this water, which they refer to as agbo, the concoction, back home with them.
Soon enough, the procession to the sacred grove began, with thousands hitting the streets to participate. At the grove, people were consuming the water en masse. As people were leaving the shrine with their water, more were trooping in to fetch theirs. The sale of kegs was lucrative, and everywhere you look, people were taking the polluted water. The government claimed to have issued warnings on the eve of the festival, prohibiting people from drinking the water. It was too late.
Yes.
Okay. So ẹ wá ṣe ọdún yìí.
A wá ṣe ọdún yìí.
Mo rí pé ẹ ti bu omi yín.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, omi tí a bù yẹn ó wà fún ìlera tó péye tó confirm anything tó bá ń ṣe yín tẹ́ bá fi ìgbàgbọ́ lò ó gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Oòduà torí àmì OPC ní mi ọmọ Oòduà ní mi tọkàntọkàn tó di kọ́ ó ti yé yín tẹ́ bá fi ìgbàgbọ́ lò nǹkan tó bá ń ṣe yín yẹn tẹ́ bá lo omi yẹn so that gbogbo nǹkan yẹn ó máa ṣe kíni ó máa kúrò ń bẹ̀.
Okay, so tá bá fẹ́ lò ṣé a máa mú ni.
Ẹ lè bú sínú omi tẹ́ fẹ́ mu ẹ dẹ̀ lè bú sínú omi tẹ́ fẹ́ fi wẹ̀.
So omi yìí sì mo rí pé ẹ ti bu títí yín so kí lẹ máa lọ fi ṣe tẹ́ bá ti délé.
Lọ́dọ̀ àwọn kan wọ́n ń pè lómi lọ́dọ̀ àwọn aláìmọ̀ kan ṣá ṣùgbọ́n lọ́dọ̀ tiwa báyìí àgbo ni ẹni tẹ́ pé bóyá ó ń ráyè ìdíwọ́ bàbá fún pẹ̀lú gbàgbọ́ tiẹ̀ ọ̀nà ó là ẹni tí inú bá ń tàbá fún pẹ̀lú gbàgbọ́ tiẹ̀ inú ó sì lọ ó gbọ́ oríṣiríṣi àìsàn gan kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe pé omi lásán tàbá ní omi kan bá òun.
Mo fẹ́ bèrè nípa omi yẹn mo rí pé àwọn èèyàn wọ́n bu omi yẹn lọ ṣé wọ́n máa lọ mú tó bá délé ni.
Kò sí nǹkan tẹ̀lé fomi yẹn sí ẹ lè mú ẹ lè fi wẹ̀ ẹ lè mú mi yẹn ẹ lè fomi wẹ̀.
Ṣá lè fi sóúnjẹ náà.
You can do whatever you like with the water.
Years from now, I wonder how many people would be critically ill because nothing is done. Water should be life, not death. So how much would this be worth?
This is around 25,000-26,000.
This tiny thing?
This, I think the rest on the side. Around 25,000-26,000.
Wow.
On the next episode of the Water Manifesto.
A lot of people have lost their rice farms because of the overflooding that occurs due to the collapse of this dam.
Everybody that's live here is suffering about water.
This house has also never had the joy of having steady supply of water.